Welcome to Mentoring Moments for Moms. I'm Gail Anderson. Glad that you joined us today. Thank you so much. We are continuing our series on distance education, and you may be in your very first official week of distance education with your kids. So hopefully you're having a chance to view these videos and you're gleaning just a few new ideas of how to get through this time. I do want to mention that the last video I did was on using rewards with your kids. Now this time period for them is totally new. You are having to train new behaviors. All of a sudden they're home 24/7. They're having to do schoolwork for you. It's very different. So I highly recommend that you motivate your kids by setting up some rewards to get this time to be as smooth as it can be. Now today we're going to talk about ideas for your kids' free time. When I homeschooled my 5, we had lots of free time on school days, weekends, as well as during the summer. So for me, it was salvation to have ideas for them of things that they could do during their free time to keep them out of my hair and to keep them out of each other's hair. So you hear, I know what you're talking about right now, what you're going through. So today I just want to share 4 different things that might be helpful during this time. The first one is play with your kids. Now granted, we're probably talking more your preschoolers or elementary age kids, but play with them. Teach them how to play, how to use things creative, how to get along with somebody else. This is a really important skill in a family. That's one of the things I loved about homeschooling, is that our kids clashed and they had to learn how to get through those and how to get along. It's really important. Okay, so even before I homeschooled my kids, when they were preschoolers, I actually would spend an hour in the morning with them just playing with what they wanted to play with in their room. And I felt like that made them more apt to play on their own later on, after they had had some time for me. So that's something to think about. The second thing is to make it beneficial. You know, when they're younger and they have siblings, you might want to add it as one of the things on their checklist, that if they play a game or spend some time doing something with a younger sibling, they actually get a check, which equates to a star or some monetary reward or something. Put that goal in front of them. Okay, every day you want to take some time playing with your sibling, doing something with them. And one of the other ways to look at that is you want to make it disadvantageous for them to not get along. We had to use consequences for that, worked really well. Even as my boys got into high school and things would not go that well and they teased one another, we had housework consequences. Worked wonderfully. And then I actually got an advantage out of it because I didn't have to do all the housework myself. The other thing, and I don't know where I got this terminology, but I dearly love it, is we taught the kids to fight for the bottom. Sounds crazy, but all it is a simple rephrasing of thinking of other people first. The golden rule: treat them as you would want to be treated. Instead of always fighting for the top, try and get the biggest piece, trying to get your own way, fight for the bottom. Choose to let someone else go first, to let someone else choose which cookie they want, and then you'll be fighting for the bottom. And reward that with your kids. This is fantastic. I mean, when they get into a marriage, fighting for the bottom is going to be the way to keep harmony in your marriage. So it's a funny phrase, but it's a great skill to learn, especially as children. Third, let's set some goals. Hopefully schooling is not taking you all day, so your kids need to have some things to do with their free time. Especially if you are working remotely, you want them to be self-directed in their free time. Now, what I'm going to share with you on this was what we used to do during the summer. We lived out in the country, so we weren't in town, we weren't involved in a lot of other activities, so my kids needed to have ideas of what to do. So what we did proactively, we'd sit down at the beginning of the summer and ask them some very specific questions. What would you like to read this summer? Is there a series? Mystery novels? Do you want to learn all about the Hardy Boys? Or would you like to read books about Spain? Is there a language that you want to be able to explore, where they speak that language, and just different cultures, all kinds of things. But your kids probably have something they want to read, so make sure that you're helping them sit down and think of something they'd like to read during the summer. Second thing is a place they'd like to visit, a theme park, a museum, a library. Right now, technology is our friend. You can go online and get virtual tours of so many places. Amusement parks right now will even have virtual rides where you can be riding the roller coaster and experiencing it. Granted, it's not the same as being there, but look at now your kids are making a plan. Oh, this is the first thing I want to do when I go to Disney World. That's great. Look ahead, think ahead, plan ahead, and experience things online if you cannot be there in person. Okay, what would you like to learn about this summer? Is there a hobby? Do you want to get better at soccer? Let's look up some moves. Let's watch some videos. Let's study a certain star in that area. Do you want to learn about cars? Do you want to learn about car care? I know when I was probably about 10, we were building up toward going water skiing at my grandparents' lake house. So for a month or two, I read about water skiing. I was doing it in my mind. I was putting on those skis. I was strengthening my legs. I was getting ready to do this, which made it much easier when I got there. So if your kids want to learn things, yes, there are things you can do at home, and they can learn some of this without you helping them every single second. Okay, the fourth idea is to brainstorm. If you want your kids to be self-directed, then you're going to need to brainstorm ahead of time some ideas. So I love having just like a family conference where everybody's just throwing out ideas of things they can do. Projects, puzzles, work things, games. And what we did was we wrote down all the ideas on index cards. So then we had a ready reference when they wanted to be doing something. And if they couldn't think of anything to do, I could always say, hey, you can help me clean this closet. Well, immediately they'd remember that they could go look at the index cards and get a better idea of something to do than helping mom with cleaning the closet. So that really helped us a lot. One last reminder, during this time, you have the opportunity to be with your kids a lot, and they will be asking for your time even more than they normally do. So I want to stress to you that during this time, you learn to say yes instead of no. Granted, you can't say yes all the time, but instead of saying no, consider saying yes when. Okay, Mom, will you come play this card game with me? Yes, when you finish your math. Yes, when I'm off the phone. Yes, when I'm done with this project. Yes, at 4 o'clock. You can find a time to be with them, and it will make such a difference in your relationship. You know, I was listening to a prayer thing at Church on the Move last week. My son and Pastor Ethan Vance were talking, and they were talking about having this time to recreate yourself as a parent. Wow, what an idea. No matter how crazy your life has been before, you now are within the same four walls with your family, and you can choose the kind of mom that you want to be. You can change the history. You can be a new person. And the things that you learn during this time, the changes that you make as a parent, then you can continue as we go from here. But this is a great opportunity. See it as an opportunity instead of something we just have to get through. Thank you so much for listening. Our next video is going to be on making days special. Oh, that is one of my specialties, so you don't want to miss that one. Be sure to check out my other videos on mentoring moments for moms. Also check out our blogs on kirbyanderson.com. And thank you again for being a part of this. Share this with somebody who maybe is doing distance education and just needs some ideas. I appreciate your listening. Make it a great day.